Hello! It's Tuesday. It's my only stream of the week, though. This is weird. I don't know. Maybe I'll run another giveaway on my Discord to apologize for this. So if you're not part of it, you should totally join. But yeah, we are streaming today. We are streaming, what's this? Scarlet Witch? Nope, Scarlet Wolf. Scarlet Wolf. Published by Sometimes You. Thank you to them for the code for this one. Developed by Graven Visual Novels. Also available on Steam and Switch. This came out on Xbox on the 3rd of June 2026 at $9.99 or £8.39. If you are ready to run and play a deadly game of hide and seek, then come on in and make yourself at home. Behind the door, endless oppressive corridors, filthy walls, deadly traps, and a ravenous creature eagerly waiting to get up close and personal with you. Clocking in at 13 achievements, all of which are obtainable. I do not know how long it takes to actually play, because it's one of those ones that you can just skip. So, yeah. We're going to play it for a couple of hours, see where we get, because it's just disrespectful to do otherwise. So yeah, grim atmosphere, world of horror and suffering, unpredictable events, original soundtrack and realistic sound effects. So that sounds like very disturbing. The art does look very pretty though. And yeah. So it came out on June 3rd. I was going to stream it on June 3rd, but that was when I was having serious hay fever and heat side effects, so I did not do that. Either which way, we're here with it today. So yeah, also I should say, hey Raina, and Alkash, and Leaky. Welcome in. Yes, a woo! A woo indeed. Yeah, let's stop looking at the information sheet and load up the game and switch over to me. And yes, hi. Oh, and up to the mic again. With Unity. Seizure warning. Do not play if you're drowsy or fatigued. Interesting. I guess it goes with, if you are subject to seizures from flashing lights, do not play when you're drowsy and fatigued. Otherwise, I'd never get to play any games. Because I'm always drowsy and fatigued. But yeah, anyway, we had nuggies, and waffles. Master volume, music volume, sound volume, text speed, font size. Oops, I didn't actually want to do that. What I wanted to do was that. Large, please. Before you set out, decide how your story will sound. You have not unlocked anything yet. You drew a very beautiful wolf, but why is he red? Just killed an evil monster. Getting hard to breathe. These damn dirt brown walls all look the same. Their very presence presses down on me like huge stone vices, even though they're close enough to touch. With their endless twists and turns, this corridor reminds me more and more of a serpent crawling towards the remains of my sanity, ready to sink its fangs in and finish poisoning it. Well, maybe if you stood your head still and stopped being dizzy, why is there a door handle in the wall? No, not this again. What happened? The walls have started moving. It's shifting. Not again. I was almost... Why? I've been here too long and nearly reached my goal. If I had just a little more time, I'd definitely find her, but it won't allow it. Whom are you talking about? My head, it hurts. It hurts so much. I stopped the recording and slid the phone into my pocket. Ooh, God, that's a bit loud. This is a very unusual case, Alex. The doctor was jotting something down intently in her notebook. At one point she paused and looked up at me. You said it changed. The labyrinth? Alright, still got the sneezy part of the hay fever. Yes, how often does that happen? I clenched my hands into fists. It shifts the very moment I'm within arm's reach of the answer. Especially that time, I'd never been so close to the solution. It felt like there it was, just one final step, but that's when my head hurt so badly that I woke up. I see, so this dream can affect your physical state in reality. Well, not exactly, it's more my own influence. The dream resists me when I try and stay in it, hence the headache. I'm starting to get the impression that you tried to figure out your problem before coming to me. I've never met such an inquisitive patient. I'm quite resourceful and prefer to tackle questions that interest me on my own. Doctor, I don't like asking for help, but this time I can't do without it. All of us eventually face difficulties we can't overcome alone. Even strong people sometimes need support, Alex, and there's nothing shameful about that. So, thank you. However, I have to ask how this recording from another doctor's session ended up on your phone. I smirked slightly, though I tried to keep my emotions in check until the last moment. I hope Amanda didn't get the wrong idea. As I said, I'm rather resourceful. Amanda smiled. Alright, that information isn't relevant to your therapy. What matters is that I believed you and you didn't have to pay for extra time, right? Exactly, Doctor, and since we're on the subject, isn't it time to get down to business? Amanda shook her head. You're too impatient. The recording is good, but before we start, we need to discuss everything thoroughly. I just need to get into that dream on my own terms, that's all. Leave the rest to me. Amanda tapped her pen thoughtfully against the notebook. I understand that, but why did you need my... The doctor gasped. You don't mean to say you came here because... I decided to lay everything out. There's no point dodging a direct answer or denying the obvious. That certainly won't help me gain Amanda's cooperation. I believe that only with your anchor method will I be able to stay in the dream long enough to figure everything out and... She cut me off. Alex Bishop, I'm sorry, but I cannot help you. The anchor method proved ineffective. I expected her to say something like that. Unfortunately for Amanda, I was determined to stand my ground until she agreed to help me. Please, ma'am, I know that's not true, and I know what happened to your daughter. My father works at a dream research institute, and I've heard about the case. Amanda sighed bitterly. Then you understand why I have to refuse you. Please, doctor, hear me out. All right, Alex, but I'm warning you right away. Using the anchor is out of the question. I know this isn't what you wanted to hear, but it's for the best, primarily for you. The anchor method needs serious refinement, and for that I need more time and observation. Tell me more about it. Maybe we can find some solution. Yes, I'm not a psychologist, but I've studied the subject and attended my father's lectures. Amanda's face showed how torn she was inside. However, after a brief pause, she continued speaking. Usually, an anchor is something that triggers memories of an object or event. It can be a smell, a sound, or some object, and those memories can either be positive or negative. The latter, as you can imagine, affects one's mental state in less than ideal ways, yet even they can be useful. In any case, an anchor's effectiveness has limits. The deeper you dive into your mind, the weaker your connection to the outside world becomes. Given that, it's best to use a physical anchor, but even then there's a risk of losing your link to the real world, and... Tears shimmered on her lashes, but she brushed them away at once. I'm sorry, Alex, it's hard for me to talk about this. I understand, but this is a matter of life and death. I can't sleep properly, and even when I try and nap, I see that nightmare over and over. Whatever I do, however I try to banish the dream or numb my mind, the same thing happens every time. Again that accursed labyrinth, again the voice calling for help. I've heard it so often I feel I've experienced all that girl's suffering myself. Can I really just abandon her now? Amanda looked at me as if I'd said something foolish. We've come here ready to risk everything for a girl who doesn't even exist in real life. What's her name? I have no idea. I'm less and less certain I'm willing to help you. Searching for this girl could take a lot of time and... Oh, really sorry. I am tired. Oh, but it's not the game. But yeah. Hopefully everyone's all doing okay, and we'll read the story, and if people want to chat, do let me know. And if you drag it out, if you cross the point of no return, no anchor will help you. You remain a prisoner of your own mind, and no one will be able to help you, just like my Molly. Doctor, I haven't been able to sleep properly for a long time. You know yourself that sleep deprivation can do enormous harm, so I'm at risk either way. One day my body will give out, and I don't care whether that's today or sometime from now. For... Forgot to get more tea. Alright, I can put you under hypnosis. Perhaps in a few sessions we can save her. I shook my head. It's useless. There's something in my subconscious capable of influencing me, and it won't let me reach the gut. It's exactly where I need the anchor, to get all the way to the end. No, Alex. Amanda's voice sounded even harsher than before. Convincing her won't be easy. I've studied your method carefully, Doctor. I read everything I could find online, and I have an idea how to solve the sudden break problem. Dr. Silk remained silent. She was probably doubting my words. I have to say... No, I don't have to say. It's interesting how it keeps on changing from, like, Amanda to then Dr. Silk. And I'm wondering if that's, like, a personal perspective, so, like... Or whether this is just an annoying inconsistency because people didn't proofread it, or something else, which I'm hoping it's not. Dr. Silk, Amanda, don't you realise this coin has another side? Just think of the horizons that will open if we succeed. If my method works, there's a chance you can help your daughter. A spark of excitement lit up in Amanda's eyes, yet her voice remained serious. And if it doesn't, you'll lose your connection to reality like my Molly. You'll live only by your instincts, performing only your basic life support functions. That's if everything goes wrong, but we won't know for sure until we try. Oh, you have no idea what you're signing up for. Back then I was completely confident in my abilities in the method, just like you are now. So confident I decided to use it to rid my daughter of her fears. After a year living with a tyrant of a stepfather, she started having constant nightmares. I wanted to free her from them. But, as often happens, I only made things worse. I understand, past mistakes haunt you, but this is a great chance to refine the anchor method so it can help not only your daughter, but others as well. Amanda fell into thought. Even so, you have to understand that there are bureaucratic hurdles, permission from the Institute to use the method, a notarized waiver of liability in case. I placed on the table a waiver already signed by my parents, releasing all liability in the event of an adverse outcome. Amanda took it in her hands. First she read the text slowly and with utmost attention, then she began examining the sheet itself. Doesn't look fake. With a bitterness in her voice, she clearly didn't want to help me risk my neck. But how did you manage to get your parents' consent at all? They simply understand it's the only way to help me. In reality, they understood nothing and didn't even suspect a thing. My father thought he was signing some sort of permission slip for a school trip, but I had to lie to put an end to all this. The next thing I placed on the table was a red folder with drawings sticking out of it. You really came prepared, I see. Exactly, we'll need this for your method. And this... The green notebook was placed on the table. Amanda opened the red folder stuffed with children's drawings. So, this is our anchor. I nodded. The only thing I remember from childhood is my imaginary friend named Ginger Root. Everything else is a bit of a blur. Your medical file says you're adopted. Yes, that's right. So you remember nothing about your real parents? Nothing at all? Wow, you even coloured this little box. I thought it would help you get into character. Alright, we've sorted out the visual part of the anchor. What's Gingeru's personality like? I smiled. Actually, it's pretty nasty. Amanda raised an eyebrow. I need details. Well, he hates it when anything goes against his wishes, so most of the time we played the games he liked best. He never gives in, stands his ground to the very end, and if you argue with him, he immediately takes offence. Gingeru is often unhappy about something, usually for no reason, and he's sharp-tongued. He loves to tease and always says whatever's on his mind. He's quite a character, that Gingeru. I nodded. Amanda put the folder aside after returning everything inside. Alright, let's see, and what's this? The doctor picked up the notebook and began flipping through it, carefully studying the grey line diagrams. Wow, you've got an entire map here. I guess I don't need to ask whether you can recall a small piece of your dream, right? I think I could recreate the whole thing. I've got a really good memory, and this helps a bit too. I showed a small vial of pills. Amanda looked slightly bewildered. What's that? Just ordinary nootropics, brain boosters. Some are so effective they help you remember dreams. I swept a couple of blister packs from my dad at work. You never cease to amaze me with your thoroughness, but Alex, there are more than 20 versions of the labyrinth here. How are we going to find the girl? Are you asking out of idle curiosity, or can't you wait to get started? It seemed Amanda herself didn't know the answer. She drifted into thought, and I couldn't read her expression. The waiting was killing me, so I decided to encourage her and steer her thoughts the right way. Everything will be fine, Amanda. Don't worry. I'm young and not about to part with my life just like that, which is why I came to you. A real pro. I'm not buttering her up too openly. Maybe I shouldn't be so pushy. I hope that's really the case. Amanda sighed. I smiled. I wish I could believe you. Then believe me, or you'll miss your only chance to help your daughter. Besides, I doubt many of your patients would agree to this kind of risk. All right, you've convinced me. I hope never to use this method again, but if we succeed... We will, Amanda. I took a plush fox out of my pocket. This is your friend Ginger, right? I recognise him from the drawing. Yes, that's him. This toy is the very thing that will strengthen the link between reality and the dream. That way, if I forget what Gingeru looks like, the break with reality won't happen. Let's hope you're right, Alex. With a smile on my face, I leaned back in the chair and closed my eyes. I'm ready, Amanda. Amanda got up from the table and walked to the corner of the room. I heard the drawers opening. She was clearly looking for something. Finally, Amanda returned and sat down across from me. Now, I'm going to put you into deep hypnosis. I need you to detach from everything around it. Stop feeling the soft couch. Stop hearing the noises behind the door. Understood. This is very important, otherwise the hypnosis won't work. You must focus only on my voice and follow the commands. All right. The doctor unclenched a hand, and a round metal spiral with a small door in the middle dropped in front of my nose. Moments later, it began to sway from side to side. Watch the spiral, Alex. And I obediently watched. At first, I thought hypnosis didn't work on me. I'd read online that some people are immune to it. But soon I felt dizzy, and when the outlines of the room started to ripple and blur, I even felt a little nauseous. I felt helpless, as if I'd had too much to drink and was now riding the spins. At some point, I lost my connection to reality. It felt as though I'd separated from my body. That was frightening. But then came a sense that everything was fine. Everything was as it should be. Dr. Silk seemed to sense my state. A new command followed. Close your eyes. I did, and to my surprise, the spinning room remained. At first I thought nothing had worked, but Amanda's absence convinced me otherwise. Amanda had vanished, yet the train whirling on invisible fingers still hung in the air. From somewhere far away I heard Amanda's voice again. You do not feel your body. You do not hear your thoughts. You are no longer here. Suddenly everything sank into darkness and only a door remained before me. It grew larger. I had no doubt it was real. The knocking resumed, and it came from behind that very door. The knocking grew more insistent. Whoever it was, they were clearly not patient. Who's there? You know damn well who's there, idiot. Open up. I grabbed the handle and opened the door. On the threshold, I saw Gingeru. The little fox waved a pawing greeting and seemed to be waiting for me all this time. He looked exactly like the plush toy I held in my hand, the same old and battered, neatly stitched up on all sides, a one-eared little fox with a torn bow tie. The anchor method assumes that my imaginary friend will become a guide to the dream world, so I knew this meeting would happen. Even so, I was surprised to see the plush toy come to life that I was momentarily taken aback. Hi, Gingeru. Do you remember me? Gingeru stared at me. Of course I remember you. You're that nasty boy who forgets about his best friend. Sorry, I just... Circlade! Relax, I'm kidding. He smiled. Long time no see, man. We finally meet, though I don't feel so good. It's like some nasty stuff's crawling around inside me. Gingeroo turned his back for a moment and then faced me. Now he had buttons and a collar and a bow pinned to his ear, and on top of that he got rid of his stitches. Right, I created that image to better distinguish between the imaginary friend and the doctor. Hey, did you just call nasty? Ooh. Hey. Oh, okay. Now I'm gotta get the voice right. Hey, who did you just call nasty, you little brat? I'm a certified psychotherapist, doctor of medicine, Amanda Silk. Whoa, how much junk you piled on me? The fox hurriedly tore off the buttons one by one and then tossed the collar aside. It's a big idea, man. That wasn't ideal. Why'd you stick some psycho in me and let her dress me up so shamelessly? Psychotherapist, not a psycho, a psychotherapist. Could be a ballerina or any other dancer. Either way, you don't treat friends like that. And what is this gloomy place anyway? This is my dream. Gingeroo looked at me in surprise and spread his arms, gesturing around. This awful stinky labyrinth, which is probably crawling with roaches to boot. This is your dream? Yeah. Jeez, you sure picked a place for meeting an old friend. Couldn't you spruce the place up a bit? I don't know, made it cheerier or something. I'm not demanding it look like a cartoon or anything, but how about a sky instead of this grey mouldy ceiling? I'd love to, but I've been dreaming of this labyrinth for months. Oops. Gingeroo whistled. Explains why we've got that what's-her-name here with us. Dr. Amanda Silk, psychotherapist. Yeah, that's the one. The fox shrugged off his collar again and tore off all the buttons. Didn't last a single day here, way too gloomy. Nah, just look at that. The fox pointed a paw at the wall where there was an image that looked like a wolf. Does someone really think this place isn't depressing enough so they paint horrors on the wall? Okay, right. First save point. Let's go with... It's a warning. I think it's a warning. Maybe we should be more careful. Who knows what dwells in these grim corridors. You're definitely not a rainbow pony. Pity. I've always wanted to see one. The fox whistled, looking around. You dragged me into quite a mess. We need to get out of here fast. I wouldn't want to linger here either, Jean. Gingeroo jumped indignantly. Hey, what did I ever do to you? Kill your favourite dog or steal $1 million? Would you just chop off my magnificent name like that? Again. I'd forgotten Gingeroo doesn't like it when I call him G. Every time I did, he stayed mad at for ages and wouldn't even play his favourite games with me. And it happened pretty often. His name was a bit long for a 5-year-old, even if he'd made it up himself. Once I called him that on my birthday, so he sulked and hid. When he came back and found out I'd eaten the whole cake, he pouted even more. Sorry, Gingeroo, I won't do it again. Apology accepted, Hal. Normally I'd run off after that, but I can't just leave you here alone, can I? As expected, the rascal retaliated, leaving only 2 letters of my own name. I smirked. Let's call it even. Fine. The fox looked around. So, we need to find a way out and get you out of here, right? Not exactly. We need to find a girl. I often hear her calling my name. I think she needs my help. Got it. We'll look for the girl. She might have drawn that scary picture on the wall, don't you think? Maybe. Hadn't thought of that before. But here's what puzzles me. I can roam the dream world freely. Did you get here? The doctor and I used a cutting-edge method called the anchor. I'm under hypnosis right now and you're my anchor to the real world. Didn't just stick that pushy girl in me and dress me up like a chick, you also called me an anchor. Guess you want a good thrashing. Gingeroo leapt onto me and tapped me with his soft paws. After a few blows, he announced with satisfaction. Thrashing complete. Don't be mad, but to make the dream feel real, I have to be in it with my imaginary friend from real life. It's needed to heighten the perception of imagined reality against the backdrop of a fading real one. Gingeroo blinked. Oh, of course, it's so simple. Only a fool wouldn't get it, or someone far from psychology, or a plush toy with stuffing for brains. He puffed up. Don't be angry. Better help the doctor and me find the girl. Amanda stepped into the conversation. Alex is right. You are his friend. Gingeroo tore off the buttons and collar and held them at the wall with all his might. I'll help. Please just get rid of these trinkets. Soon Alex's mind will learn to build the proper anchor image on its own, and you won't need to take my little things off it every time. Fine, I'll bear with it. Let's look around then. Gingeroo pattered across the floor on his little legs, and I followed after him. The fox girl inspected the walls, cast cautious glances around corners, and finally declared, Looks like the labyrinth is a trap. I think it symbolises some problem you couldn't handle in real life. Remind me how many candies you paid her for that analysis. I bet I could have done as well. The fox swiveled his head, surveying the room. Fox hopped up to one of them and drummed on it with his little soft paw. Looks like they symbolise something long, maybe even a human life. He threw his paws up theatrically and pressed an ear to the pipe. Hear that gurgling? Ah, right, a river. The river of life. And the pipes themselves symbolise its flow. Hey, brat, stop mocking my profession so blatantly. It's mocking. I'm just trying to do what you do, Doctor. Gingeroo-chan said nothing. Alex, something's off. You said you hear a girl calling for help, but it's dead silent here. I'd noticed that too, but didn't give it much thought because it had happened before. I said I hear the voice every time, but I should add it happens at different moments. Sometimes right at the start of the dream, and sometimes I wander the labyrinth for hours before I hear her. Maybe this is one of those times. And every time it happens, it feels like she's somewhere nearby. Ah, it's pretty weird, don't you think? How? When the girl starts calling for help, it seems she's close, like she knows you're near. So why was she silent up until then? Yeah, that is strange. The next thought sent a chill down my spine. Maybe it's something else calling me with her voice if I feel I'm getting closer, but actually I move further away each time I follow it. That's creepy. Gingeroo clapped his hands. After what you just said, I feel twice, no 3 times as uneasy. I suggest we sing cheerful songs and clap our hands so it's not so scary. The fox shouted it so loudly that his words echoed through the labyrinth for a long time. Quiet, listen. Gingeroo dutifully twitched his ears. Nothing, dead silence. By the way, what was I supposed to hear beside the girl's voice? Not sure, but I sensed something ominous. I keep feeling a presence, as if something's watching my every step. What's that sound? I'm too muffled, can't make it out. No surprise, a fox's hearing beats a human's any day. Yeah, technically I've got one ear, but I definitely hear running water and something else. Probably coming from those pipes. Gingeroo stepped up to a pipe and started listening. Weird. Sounds a lot like howling. Just the pipes humming, nothing unusual. Oh look, there's some writing on the pipe. Damn, can't read it through the grime. Why don't we scrub it off? Pause, you know. I'm just going to do a save at the save points, and I am going to wipe off the right. Ooh, yeah, you flippity puttabah! Fangs snapped shut just inches from my face. By some miracle, I sprang back, and as I tried to steady myself, I saw their owner, a crimson wolf with crazed eyes. Gingeroo screamed and tore deeper into the maze, and I ran after him. What's that thing? No idea. Hi, Jessie. But I think it's gaining on us. I glanced back and caught a glimpse of the red creature made of thick blood chasing us. Ha! You got my genre! Look, see over there? Though why I'm asking you, you're not that sharp-eyed. Skip the commentary! There's a grey. Looks like it's rusted through. Breaking it should be easy. I didn't notice until I was right by the wall. Gathering all the speed I could, I leapt and kicked it. Screech rang out and the grate, held by rusty bolts, crushed down. Gingeroo jumped into the hole. After me! Hurry! I needed no urging and crawled as fast as I could. Inside a long metal pipe, I hammered along the steel, scrambling after the fox. A terrible growl sounded behind me, but I ignored it and kept crawling. It's trying to squeeze in. Then scare it off with your psycho tricks. Aren't you here for that? You must be good for summit. I don't know how to drive it away. Phew. Could you? It's literally breathing down my neck. The wolf's teeth snapped at my feet several times, and I started moving as fast as I could in the cramped space. I crawled towards the narrow, rusty labyrinth like cockroaches, desperately trying to shake our pursuer. After a few turns, Gingeroo stopped abruptly, and I felt his soft fur right in my face. Gingeroo squealed in surprise and jumped aside. Hey, what's your problem? Did the wolf bite you and give you rabies? Sorry. Gingeroo flattened his ears. Wait, do you hear that? Yeah, it's quiet. Looks like the wolf's gone. I exhaled and my voice steadied. Come on, keep crawling. No, not that. Alex, don't you hear the voices? What are they saying? I listened, and indeed I heard a man and a woman arguing. Strange I hadn't noticed them before. Why? Why do you make the same mistake every time? Why'd you do this? It's not going to end well. Who's talking? You know better than me, acting all saintly. So you're blaming me? Blaming me for being like this? I'm like this because I have no choice, but you do. You can stop doing stupid things. No, you know perfectly well I can't just stop. It's impossible. It's I'm sick of hearing this. I'm trying for us. What do you want from me? Whose fault is it that I just want us to have a good relationship? Good. Good. Yes, they're awful because of you. If you weren't like this... It's enough. I don't want to hear your pathetic excuses anymore. You had to DuckDuckGo MOBA. Yeah, massively online battle arena, I think? Something like that. Tea leaf in my tea. Tea leaf in my teeth. Alright. What I got? Hunting! Seems appropriate! And, yeah, lowish. Fair. Right. I'm gonna go with, I think the woman hit the man, because it's always gonna be the other one. I hear fatigue in his voice. He's been through this conversation before. She must be pushing him too hard. No! It's on that! Fair, I picked it. I've got to live with it. The woman shouted so loudly my ears are ringing. He endured all her attacks, but she lost her temper. Looks like she hit him. I don't know whether he deserved it or not. It's harder to type say it than Googling something, but you switch search engines. Oh, you DuckDuckGo'd it. Fair. No, yeah. Never mind. I think you got the point either which way. Carefully shuffling along the cold steel of the vent, I moved on and past the fox. Soon a light flickered ahead. Looks like I found an exit. One precise kick, and the grate crashed onto the stone floor. I crawled out of the vent into a small... Which vent? The one in the that vent? Because, yeah, something's slightly off about these proportions. Also, why would this door lock from the inside? I crawled out of the vent into a small room that could be summed up in 2 words, a concrete box. Cold, grey and grim, lacking almost every comfort except the bare essentials. First I thought it was a prison cell until I noticed one detail. The door was locked from the inside. Who would condemn themselves to live in this dungeon? How serious must the reason have been to accept existence in such a horrible place? Look, is that the girl you were talking about? Yes, that must be her. I wanted to rejoice that I'd finally found her, this mysterious stranger. She looked so tired, so worn out. It was impossible to look at her without pity. Only now did I notice she was lying amid a scatter of different pills. Are they hers? What are they for? She's literally dressed like Red Riding Hood. This is quite funny. Looks like she's unconscious. Well, we found the star of the show. Time to leave before that bloody blob eats us all. We need to think how to get her out of here. Where to? The real world? Do you even get what you're saying, kid? You're a guest in dreams and can leave. She can't. Billis! The fox is right. She can't leave this place. And we have to figure something out. Find some way to help her. I gently placed my hand on her neck. She's still breathing. Looks like she's asleep. I hate to sidetrack, but what are these pills? I picked up one of the vials and read the label. Snorrels is a sleeping pill. There's a lot here. A sedative, an anticonvulsant, a tranquilizer, and this drug I'd never seen. Look, I think she moved her fingers. Sure enough, the girl moved her hand slightly and opened her eyes. Her gaze was hazy. She seemed not to understand what was happening. Only after a while did the stranger focus on me. Studying my face, she finally spoke. Who are you? My name's Alex. I heard you calling for help, so I came. I couldn't resist examining her more closely. Her blue eyes, golden curls, and slender hands felt painfully familiar, as if I'd seen her before. But where? When? I see. The girl tried to stand, but when it was clear she couldn't, I offered her my hand. Will she be able to walk unaided and think clearly if she took some of those pills? That's it. That's your whole reaction. You look really familiar, but I just can't place it. Come on, help out, Alex. Alex? That name rings a bell. I've definitely heard it more than once. Feel it's like I heard it just yesterday. I know why. Essentially, we're all parts of Alex's mind now, and what he can't recall, neither can we. The answers are here somewhere, we just have to find them. Your advice is as helpful as ever, Doc. Right now, helping our new acquaintance matters most. Maybe thanks to her, we'll find a way out of the labyrinth. We'll hunt to the rest as we go. And is there even an exit? There has to be. Every labyrinth has one. I think I remembered something. Irene. That's my name. Of course. How could I forget that name? I'd heard it before. It had to be deep in my mind, struggling to surface, but something kept it back. Suddenly, memories of the orphanage flooded in. The least pleasant phase of my life. The worst part is it happened in childhood, the happiest, most carefree time for anyone. Alas, mine was far from rosy, and I'd rather not remember it. The caregivers constantly shouted at me and the other kids. They punished us for the smallest misdeeds, made us work late into the night, and if someone refused, they left them without food. But the worst thing wasn't hunger or fatigue. Everyone feared Mr. Sadley, that big, scary, unpleasant man who'd grab his leather belt at the slightest excuse and threaten us. Are you from my orphanage? Did Mr. Sadley abuse you? Okay, it definitely said Irene, and now it's Erin. Okay. 3 achievements left for Hades 2. Congratulations. Good luck with the chaos? Okay, so apparently it's not Irene, it's Erin. Someone did not proof this at all, which annoys me, especially in the first, section of a visual novel, and naming consistently. 2 of them are directly tied to primordial chaos. I mean, you did say it was chaos. Chaotically difficult, I believe. I don't remember what happened, and I don't remember how I got here. I just remember it hurt a lot, or maybe I was sad. It's hard to tell now. If we don't get out of here and escape this labyrinth right now, we'll all end up both sad and hurt, so let's hurry. He jumped up onto me and ordered, "Oh, there's a little window in the door. Perfect, we can check the situation. Come on, Alex, get me closer, okay? Okay?" The fox paused in thought. Got it. We need a plan B. So, Gingeroo grabbed me by the collar and shook me. "Come on, with plan B. Fast." I walked to the door and looked through the window. In the distance, lit by a lamp, I could clearly see the silhouettes of 2 dogs. They probably wouldn't greet us wagging their tails, so we needed another way out. I'm afraid I don't have a plan B. Great, let's do that. Wait a sec, what did you say? I have no plans, look like we're trapped. If you can't think of anything, I can't either. Guess we're doomed to sit here forever with this girl who can't remember a thing. Actually, you're not alone here. Oh right, I totally forgot. So we're stuck with a girl who remembers nothing and a doctor who can't do anything. Alex, all the monsters in the labyrinth, even the labyrinth itself, are products of your imagination. In other words, they're your fears. Imagination can only be beaten by another imagination. Incredible, Doctor. I think I get what you're saying. It's like that magic flashlight, remember? You were afraid to take it into the basement because it let you see monsters, but it couldn't protect you from them. So we made up that the flashlight was enchanted and scared of all the nasties. Flashlight. BX. Oh, I think that was before the orphanage, back with my old family. Ah, you're starting to remember bit by bit. That's good. But how do I get it? I don't even know where it is. I lost it in the nursery ages ago. You say it's in the nursery. You shouldn't go there. A monster lives there. What are you talking about? Even if I wanted to, I couldn't get there. Of course you can, Alex. You just need a door. You can't access the labyrinth, but you can reach any room inside it. And since when did the nursery become part of the labyrinth? It was here from the start, and I lived in it. I'd sit huddled in a corner waiting for the monster and trembling with fear. I always knew it was real, somewhere close, and even if it never came. One day I looked into the bed and saw its eyes in the dark. I think the monster was smiling, clearly enjoying my fear. And after a while, new rooms started appearing in the labyrinth, and I decided to check them out. That's when the monster showed itself. I don't know why, but it couldn't enter certain rooms. Then things got really weird. I heard the wolf speak in my voice, calling you. And then some dogs showed up. I never saw their master, but something tells me they have one. Fascinating, sure, but we got a mission. Come on, Alex, imagine the nursery door, grab that magic flashlight, and we're done. Hey, I can still voice my own thoughts. Ginger and Dr. Amanda looked horns in another squabble while I focused on the wall, trying to envision a door to the nursery. For a while nothing happened, but then faint outlines emerged on the wall, at first barely visible, then merging into the clear shape of a door. Moments later, it filled in with details, not only those of any ordinary door, but ones I never expected. Smiley faces, stickers of superheroes and cars, rub-on tattoos. It was as if they'd all been waiting for me to appear so they could show themselves. At last the door gains its final and most important detail. A doorknob. Mustering all my courage. Something about chaos. Wow, that sounds complicated. And can you enable the accessibility options or the difficulty changey things to help with that, or not? I mean, I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying if you could, that would help perhaps it be less tedious. But yeah. Spooky? Do you think I'm spooky? Mustering all my courage, I set my hand on the cold metal, turned the knob, and pushed the door. It swung open with a soft scrape, obediently letting us into the monster's lair. Beyond the threshold lay nothing but pitch-black darkness. I didn't really want to step into it, but after everything I'd been through, backing out now would have been foolish. Very scary, much fear. Wait for me, man! I won't let you face a monster one-on-one without a specialist. I'm coming too. Once on the other side, I found myself standing in absolute darkness. This must be the nursery from my past life. I wondered what it looked like. With that question, fragments of memory began surfacing from the depths of my mind. Something wooden creaked underfoot and I looked down. The darkness dissolved, revealing a planked floor, just like the one in my room. Walls sprang up as well, and leaning against them at an angle were two huge panelled windows. Wallpaper bloomed on the wall, and the emptiness filled with the ticking of a round clock. Final touches were a small wardrobe, a bed, and a toy chest. Yet something else burst through with the image of the nursery. Voices. A boy and a girl were talking. Do you hear them? Of course. What, do you think I'm deaf? Listening to their conversation, I first caught the gist, and with it began to notice the silhouettes of the speakers appearing. In the middle of the room stood a small boy and an older girl. The girl looked like the one now standing beside me. Gingeroo noticed it too. He glanced first at Aaron and then at the girl gently stroking the boy's head. We all held our breath, afraid to scare them away. Hey, what's that you've got? A drawing, but I'm not finished yet, though I like it already. You draw a really cool wolf, but why is he so awesome? He just killed the evil monster. You mean the one that lives under the bed? The girl giggled. Yeah, and now the wolf will always protect you. Protect me from what? There are many things in the world that can harm you, Alex. Some are physical and some that live in our heads. You're scaring me, Aaron. Don't be afraid, be strong. This wolf will keep the bad things away. I remembered that conversation. That morning I complained to my sister that I couldn't sleep. Felt like a monster lived under my bed. I thought the moment I closed my eyes it would eat me, so I couldn't sleep. Aaron drew me a savior. A red wolf. Ever since then he was always with me. He killed the monster in the attic, gave me the courage to cross the orphanage's dark garden when I tried to escape. But after I was adopted, I no longer needed him. I was taken to a warm, cozy home. I got good parents, but with them came guilt. I'd always shared everything good with my sister, yet over time I forgot her, forgot she even existed. And she waited for me in that gloomy room for who knows how long. My thoughts were cut short by a menacing growl from under the bed. Any moment the wolf would pounce. The very wolf meant to protect me. He'd just taken the monster's place and now I had to fight him? Wait, I came here for a weapon. The wolf shot out from under the bed, a swift red blur, and lunged at Aaron. But I shielded it with my arm. His teeth tore my sleeve, yet missed the skin. He looks like he's made from jelly. I'm sorry, but he looks like he's made from jelly. Standing to kill Gore's steel skin never fails him. Steel skin? I need my special armor for that move. Buddy, just be glad you're alive. The wolf released me and sprang back, ready to strike again. It felt like he paused so I could really see what years had turned him into. I tried to remember how he'd looked before, but couldn't. Even so, I knew he'd been different. Slime monsters are especially scary. What about ones made of jello? I mean, except for gelatinous cube, which just tends to absorb everything. Though, if edible, I'd totally try and eat my way out of that. Probably has similar abilities. Okay. Well, I like jelly, and it looks like raspberry jelly. My mind had twisted into something far more terrifying, a beast of congealed blood. Apparently it's congealed blood. Nope, it looks like raspberry jelly. 3 glowing yellow eyes. 3? 3? Bored into me from an asymmetrical snarling face. From an open maw, Scarlet streamed stripped past razor fangs, aching to rend flesh. I forced myself to think logically. Maybe he can't hurt me. His purpose is to protect me, and even twisted into a monster, he won't break his creator's will. Exactly, he can't harm you. I won't let him. You need your trusty sword, the shard of light. The flashlight. Yeah, we won't get far like this, pal. You need more faith. Got it? Only by believing in the shard can you beat not only just the wolf, but any monster. Come on, you've got this. Right after you've thrown that sword. Where did I put it? Yeah, it's randomly got 3 eyes. They're not yellow, they're red, but heck. The wolf crouched, then sprang and clamped his jaws on my shoulder. What the? He's trying to kill me. This time the fangs bit flesh, blood blooming on my shirt. The wolf senses your doubt, Alex. You don't believe you can win. Even I can feel it. If this keeps up, we're all finished. The wolf bit into my arm again. I gritted my teeth through the pain, then spun and slammed him into the wall. He let go and fell. A momentary win, 1 point for me, but I had no idea how to end this fight. Fear gone, so Kilgore's courage returned, yet it wasn't enough. The foe was too swift, too lethal. A whole new level. Sir Kilgore had never faced such a fearsome opponent, nor been wounded so badly. This creature was no longer the red wolf meant to guard me. A haze of rage over yellow eyes blinded him to the boy who once needed him. His red coat, more like dried matted blood, bristled with fury. In trying to craft a nightmare, my mind had gone too far. What is he guarding from me? I managed to dodge another attack, but my strength was at limits. For several minutes I dashed around the room, dodging the enemy who flowed from spot to spot. I had mixed success. The wolf kept managing to nick me with his razor-sharp teeth. If this wasn't a dream, the pain would be many times worse. I'd probably already be writhing in agony, bleeding out. As it was, the wounds burned and ached, but I could bear it. Gingeroo covered his eyes with his paws. What are you doing? Planning to fall on this battlefield, Sir Kilgore? I parried another strike with my arms, feeling hot blood trickle down my wrist. No, this won't do. I had to remember where I put the shard fast! You just revealed a really scary achievement of chaos. One of the relics sets your health to 30 max. Ooh. I'm guessing that's not a good level. That day I'd climbed Pillow Mountain to slay the Pillow Monster, then on the way to the Feast Fortress, right, I put it in the chest. The chest with my weapons and treasures in the chest. It's in Fang Cave, under the bed. Dodging the wolf's jaws, I leapt to the far corner of the room, straight to the life-saving chest. The moment I lifted the lid, I heard a crunch. The hinges were so rusted they simply snapped. No time for surprise or complaints, but I did get an improvised shield, which I smashed into the wolf's snout. Taking advantage of his confusion, I yanked the flashlight from the chest and switched it on. A blade of light burst from the flashlight, and I brought its full power down on the wolf. In the very first swing, I smashed his paw. The monster roared and I struck again. This time I drove the glowing blade into his back. He howled and jumped away while I advanced, a sword raised for another strike. My only chance was to keep up the pressure and keep hitting. I slashed again at the bloody clots with this thin, shining blade. The monster whimpered. Where did he get the Master Sword? From the toy chest. Weren't you paying attention? It was in Frank Cave. The monster whimpered. With the next wound, he reverted to his original form, the Crimson Wolf who once slew the evil monster. Yet doubt crept in. Was this a trick to lull me? Either way, there was no retreat. I looked at my once trusted guardian one last time before severing his head. At the very moment the blade of my imagined sword pierced the wolf's crimson flesh, I felt something snap inside me. As though with that blow I cut off not only the wolf's head, but a piece of myself. I just killed the one who shielded me from a terrible secret. He had bolstered me so many times, giving me courage while staying just out of sight, and now I'd slain my protector, taken his head and with it my childhood memories. The wolf's body flopped to the ground in a red heap and oozed across the room. Pain in my limbs vanished, the wounds left no trace. In seconds the body decomposed before my eyes, leaving only bones with ragged scraps of flesh. Staring at the sad sight, I noticed one detail. The ribs hid some object. Overcoming my last doubts, I broke them and pulled out a key. I'd seen it before, it's for the study. Ooh, okay. Save. Mother's study, because why not? And of course Mum let me into her own study, seeing her work was delicate and vital. After all, she brewed potions that made people happy. But Mum did call Erin for help, and judging by how often Sis comes back tired and pale, the job really wasn't easy. One time Erin even said that Mum asked for more than she could give. The flood of memories made by head pound, scenes, words and sounds from the past flashed by in a blur. I wasn't ready for it. At that moment Erin ran up to me. Are you alright? Her soft, gentle voice scattered the terrible din. Instead of answering, I hugged her, feeling the warm touch of her cheek. The last time we'd hugged, I barely reached her belly button. Now I remembered that along with countless days spent together. And if it came back as soon as I felt her warmth, I had that part of my life again, the part I'd lost. But something was still missing. Probably the very detail in this joyful picture that my mind had hidden so carefully. But I decided I was ready to remember everything. Yeah, I'm fine. Come on, Sis, we need to get out of here. She smiled and ruffled my hair like I was that little boy from the past. We left the nursery and found ourselves again in the room where I'd found Erin. She looked at me with a sad smile. You know, I was hoping you'd never remember me or what happened. Of course, she meant the very secret the wolf had guarded. Don't say that. You can't forget your own sister, no matter what the reason. The girl stamped her foot. Better to forget I ever existed than remember all your life what happened. She talked to me like I was a kid, and it annoyed me, circling the issue. But I wasn't that little runt anymore. I was ready to face reality, whatever it was. Don't play with me. I know something bad happened to you. What was it? I couldn't save you. Tell me. The girl shook her head. I don't want you to know. The wolf should never have let you come this far. So from the start you didn't want me to find you. Yes, I was afraid of it. I created this labyrinth to shield you from the past. I hope you'd stop coming here, but for some reason you kept returning again and again. And why the act? Why agree to go with me? Why help? Erin sighed and laid a hand on my shoulder. You found me, so the secret will be soon revealed. The only thing I can do is support my beloved brother. I can't persuade you to freeze this moment, forget me again, and go back to your normal life. You can't. No matter how hard you try and shield him from danger, the guilt he feels would never let him sleep peacefully. Now that his real life is getting better, he feels the guilt even more. That's why his subconscious keeps coming here, trying to sort everything out. Sounds like second-rate sci-fi, Doc. Jinjiro-chan ignored the Vox and looked at me. Alex, do you remember the last time you saw your sister? I remembered a lot, how we played, laughed, had lunch together, but none of that felt like the last time the doctor's talking about. That memory has to differ from the others, not fit into our happy everyday life. Honestly, not really. And from the memories you saw in the nursery, it was clear Erin is your older sister. I nodded. What happened was a long time ago. Look at her carefully. Do you see what I mean? She looks younger than I do. I noticed that already, but I still hadn't understood where the doctor was going with it. I mean, I literally have no idea how old. He had to get permission from his parents, so, you know. Exactly, Erin is your older sister, yet she looks several years younger than you. That means she's a memory from your very early childhood. However strong the guardian image was, it couldn't wipe out every trace from that time. But it also couldn't replay the events completely because you were a child and could only absorb information, not analyze it. Now, with the ability to analyze and your subconscious decided you were ready to sort everything out. That's why you defeated the wolf, because you were finally ready to learn the truth. Alright, I admit they didn't hand you that diploma for nothing, but I still don't get who the wolf was and why he guarded the labyrinth and why he was so strong. Wolf. Erin smiled, the same gentle smile she had when she first came to show him to me. You remember his name? Yes, I do. I guess I never really forgot. Our nursery appeared before my eyes again. I'm walking so funny. I'm not walking, I'm riding. The boy stared at his sister in surprise. What do you mean, sis? You're silly. Fee, if you get too smart, I won't give you a ride. I want to ride, but where is he? Wolfie, right here. Can't you see him? The girl waved her hands through the air, then stroked the wolf when he lifted his head and howled. So loud, Dad won't scold us, will he? I don't think so. He'll be fine. The boy climbed into Erin's arms, and they began riding the wolf cub all around the nursery. Wolfie moved very quickly, but very carefully, as so not to throw the children off. After several laps, the brother and sister decided to make the game even more interesting. The boy pulled blocks and other toys out the chest, and the girl arranged them so they became obstacles. Some were quite high, which made the boy doubt that Wolfie could jump over them, but he managed and landed softly on the floor to the delight of the cheering children. After playing to their heart's content, they let the wolf cub go home. Will he come again? Of course, he liked playing with you. I want a friend like that too. Can I find him? Does this Wolfie live far away? Are there more wolves like him? Not far at all. The girl poked the boy on the crown of his head with her finger. This is where all wolves, dragon princesses and kings live, Alex. The boy jumped up with joy. But that's my head, really close. Erin nodded. Why don't you call your friend right now? Oh, yes. How do I do that? First, imagine what he looks like. The boy squeezed his eyes shut and tried to picture his imaginary friend. He's as orange as an orange and as long as a banana with a black button on his nose. Erin smiled. A fox, maybe, with a bow and buttons. He's a boy, the bravest. No hunter has ever caught him, not even Dad. He's so smart he even knows how to handle those iron things Dad bought recently. He knows how a trap works? That's a bit strange, but okay. Yeah, and he loves joking and mischief just like Mum. Erin smiled. I see, and what will your friend be called? Alex. He's standing there daydreaming again, just the humble opinion of a fox without a diploma, but I think it's time we got out of here. Memories just flooded in. Good thing they didn't wash away all common sense. Look, no dogs, the path's clear. I look in the direction the fox paw was pointing. My gaze slid along the dirty stone wall illuminated by a night. It looked ominous like any other wall in this labyrinth, but right now that wall with its patches of dirt glistening under the lamps was exactly the light at the end of the tunnel. I nodded. Let's go. Noticing something glint in the corner of my eye, I turned. A dusty beam of artificial light seeped through a grate behind which something lay. I came closer and peered into the gap between the rusty pieces of thin metal. Looks like the dogs were guarding this. I lifted the grate and gripped it firmly with my fingers and opened it. Behind it lay a dirty piece of paper. There was something written on it, but the smeared blood made it impossible to read. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't decipher it. Death certificate, maybe? I'm gonna ask Amanda. Looks like a psychiatrist's report. I can't quite make out what's written. We better hurry. I looked at the paper carefully again and remembered how I once found Dad sitting on a chair surrounded by bottles. I approached him and felt like I'd stepped on something. Lowering my eyes, I saw this very piece of paper. I thought Dad must have dropped it, so I handed it to him with a smile. He took it without a word and, seating me on his lap, hugged me tightly. I tried with all my might to remember his face, but I couldn't. We entered a long, dark corridor. Even an arm's length away, everything was swallowed by gloom, and it seemed that this impenetrable darkness could devour even light itself. I found that out when I just tried to scatter the darkness with the flashlight beam. That made it even scarier. Surely something bad could be hiding in there. What the heck? What's wrong with this flashlight? It's not the flashlight. Something's blocking the light. I'm scared. Let's find another way. I really didn't want to go on, but I understood it was our only chance. We've been wandering this maze for a long time. I don't think finding a new path will be easy, let alone that it might be the only exit. Although, why did I even assume one exists here? I guess I just wanted to believe in it. After all, I didn't start this and have come this far for nothing. And with Erin, though you're right too, that's the only way for us. I looked back. The light from the last lamps we'd seen in this passage was far behind. Only a faint gleam reached us, tracing our hesitant shadows. Yet we couldn't just stand still. We had to move somewhere, either back or forward. We'll keep going. I set Gingery on my shoulder and he clung to me tightly. Then I reached out my hand to Erin. Don't let go, no matter what happens. With those words I stepped into the darkness. The last scraps of light slid off my shoulder and I disappeared into blackness. Erin followed after me. I shifted left and found the wall. Trying to keep it to it, I walked on, but soon stopped. I thought if we moved a bit slower, Erin wouldn't be so scared. Erin was gripping my wrist so hard my arm began to ache. Looks like my plan backfired. Why did you stop? Did you feel her? Feel who? Never mind. She shook her head so fast I heard a hair rustle. Who were you talking about? The girl stayed silent. She clearly didn't want to talk. This was undoubtedly important, but I shouldn't press her, especially in such terrifying darkness. It would only make her more nervous. I moved on. Clinging to the wall with my fingers, I carefully led my sister. Even so, the mention of that mysterious stranger made me uneasy. Whoever it was probably an enemy. I'd better get ready to fight. While walking, I felt for the flashlight and shifted it closer. In case of trouble, it would be easier and faster to draw it. This is the only stream this week. It's literally in my Twitch schedule. If you ever forget, that is usually up to date. I didn't know how long we'd been walking, probably just a few minutes at most. But here, in this dark stretch cut off from the world, time flowed differently. It felt like hours had passed before I saw light. They were only tiny glowing dots, but even they brought hope. I pointed ahead, forgetting no one could see it. I see light, let's hurry. We quickened our pace. The specks of light grew as we approached, just as our hope grew that this nightmare would soon end. But when we came closer enough to recognize the source, the light gave off a chill. Shivers ran down my spine. Twisted, sharp, crooked iron rods stuck out the walls and wrapped around candles that lit the space ahead. The scene was eerie, and when I saw pentagrams drawn on the floor, I instantly understood. The light was only there so we could see the monster hiding in the dark. Ah! Sharp claws sank into the girl's leg, piercing flesh. What the hell's going on? The corridor floor was covered with pentagrams from which black gnarled hands emerged. We'd have to work hard not to let them grab us. Gingeroo darted to Erin and started prying the hands off her ankle. Can you help her? Well, you're no help at all. Keep so they don't attack us. The little fox clearly lacked the strength to free her, so I remembered the shard. I slashed at the hands with all my might, but one still held Erin. A woman's figure drifted out of the darkness, wreathed in thick smoke, yellow-eyed with syringes protruding from her back, chest and shoulders. She lunged at Erin with a piercing scream, and I had no time to target the last hand. I had only one option. Oh! I yanked her leg free so sharply that the black claws left deep scratches. Blood flowed, trickling straight into the centre of the pentagram. The woman stared at Erin for several seconds, then bent down and with a revolting sound began licking the blood from the stone. The stone? It's metal! I watched in horror and disgust, having no idea what to do next. The woman stopped her feast and froze. She stared at the floor for a few seconds and began smashing her head against it, letting out an inhuman scream. More! More! I want more blood! Need more! Suddenly she raised her head and said sweetly, Come now, be a good girl. Just need a few more drops. You'll behave, won't you, Erin? I grabbed my sister's hand and pulled her close. Back off her, monster! Sure you'll survive. Monster, is that how Mummy told you to speak to your elders, brat? The woman held the knife. It flew past my head by mere inches. The blade buried deep in the wall, and the woman vanished into smoke, then reappeared behind me a second later, striking. She missed. Gingeroo saved me by leaping onto her face and blocking her sight. She vanished into the murky haze again, and Gingeroo tumbled to the stone floor. Thanks. Stay focused. Soon the witch returned, still trying for a killing blow, luckily without success so far. Each time the creature moved the same way, and I quickly realised she could lose the smoke only when her hand held no knife. Knowing this calmed me a bit, I began plotting how to beat her. I had to catch the moment she was solid. Then something seized my leg hard. Those cursed black hands. I'd forgotten about them. Before the woman could pounce, Gingeroo sank his fangs into the black wrist and I fell to the floor. The knife hand scraped across my sword just drawn in time before the woman retreated again. I hadn't wanted to know about the sword. It was meant for my trump card, but now was no point hiding it. I parried her furious strikes one after another. She was clearly timing. Her moves in the smoke grew slower. I noticed the hands grabbed her ankle before she could turn into black mist. Then I understood how to win. First lowered her guard. After the next blow I faked exhaustion, parried weakly, and then lowered my sword. I hadn't even tried to block the next thrust, just leapt aside and started panting as if worn out. It's like 3 streams. Yeah. Keep on eating tea leaves. I need to actually put some water in my cup. Probably a good time to have a quick break. We'll have a quick break so I can actually put more tea in my tea. And I should be back in a few minutes. I mean, there are, like, God knows how many years worth of VODs if you need a Joe fix. I'll be back in a moment. But how do you know I'm real Joe? Also, trying to make tea, which I left by the kettle, with ominous music is just hilarious. I mean, I've always been contrary. Okay. Ha! Hi, Ray. I'm curious actually how many achievements we've got so far. 7 out of 13. I mean, I'm wondering, you know, as we get this... You mean it wasn't a sport? You've got to take the win, right? Hi, Ray. How you doing? The creature's already vicious grin spread into feral snarl. Proof I was on the right track. Took a deep breath and bolted. Thank you very much. My t-shirt today says love all flavors. It is my pride appropriate chili bells. I mean, I put on clothes. I even washed my hair. This is progress. I took a deep breath and bolted. The witch replied with a knife throw, weak and off target, showing her fatigue. Now we only had to wait for her to become smoke. It would take her about 3 seconds. I needed 2 to kill her. You are chap 6. Congratulations. You're gonna run out of game, and then you have to wait until next year. I got to see my new house. It has walls and a roof and most of its windows. Upstairs is mostly wooden beams at the moment, but it's kind of cool and exciting and a little scary. But yeah, it's still like future event, but at some point it's going to become shit. I have to pack everything. So yeah. But you're playing on stream as well, Jesse, so limited to what you can do. But yes. I will strangle you with my bare hands, Barrett. I kept playing along so she slipped. She wasn't trying to kill me outright. She wanted some fun before getting back to Aaron. I'm glad you're both enjoying it. At last, she made a mistake. I positioned myself with a pentagram of hands behind me. When the woman vanished, I instantly jumped aside. Before she realized she had materialized right into those grasping back claws, they seized her and I pressed the button. A bright blade burst from the flashlight and sliced her throat, severing her head. The witch's body crushed to the floor while the black hands tore it apart. The head beside Erin's drops of blood greedily licked them up, eyes rolling in bliss, mouth frozen in a rapturous smile. Soon nothing remained of the body but black sand. I shone the light on it and saw a ticket from the amusement park, which I picked up after a brief hesitation. The pentagrams vanished, the hands dissolved as if they'd never been. Erin's leg wound healed too. Apparently all the pain she'd suffered died with the creature. Just like in the wolf room, I'd saved her this time, done what I had to. Running to Erin, I still checked her leg to make sure it was truly fine. Erin smiled at me. The leg is healed. I offered her my hand. Come on, I'll lead you out of the labyrinth. But then you'll remember everything. You can't stop me now. Oh, congratulations on your milestone. Deity's impressive. And you're going to do Final Fantasy VI next. Are you doing them in reverse? 7, 6, 5... But yes, you can't stop me now. Ooh, sour. Accepted, Erin. Alex has to remember. Ah, fair. I think whoever it is, Sir Kilgore will pull through. The light was burning far ahead, and the 4 of us ran towards it, hoping it would lead us out of this cursed place. The corridor's end stood a strange machine, but I knew exactly what it was. I'd seen it before on that very day. I slid the ticket inside. The mechanism whirred to life and swallowed it. After a while, it spat the ticket back out, and the surroundings changed. The ceiling became a clear blue sky, and crowds of happy people walked around me. Oh yeah, I haven't even tackled the Pixel remasters, really. Again, you know, making time to game. It's tricky. I felt a warm hand on my shoulder. Look, what a beautiful carousel. The girl pointed at a huge butterfly ride with little cars. Its wings were dappled with colours. It looked even brighter in the sunlight. I nodded. Yeah, I want to ride. Oh, I almost forgot. Someone else wants to ride the butterfly too. Guess who? I shook my head. Erin took something orange and blue out of her purse. Gingeroo! Exactly. I sewed him in craft class. I hope it turned out at least a little nice. I hurried to grab the toy and spun it in front of my eyes in delight. Wow, he's so cool. I imagined Gingeroo just like this. Thanks, sis. Erin smiled. Let's ride this carousel, shall we, then? Just a second. I need to... Mum took a small vial of red liquid from her purse and quickly drank it, then put it back. She closed her eyes and a blissful smile appeared on her face. That's better. It's good that you helped Mummy out, sweetie. She's drinking her blood. That's really gross. That is a really respectable gamer score. Very impressive considering the amount of games you complete as well. Because you put in the hours. But yes. Hopefully you have more death defenses in the next run, Jesse. Erin smiled again. Of course. We got on the carousel and it spun us around. Suddenly Erin felt sick. When it stopped, she fell to the ground and scraped her knee, drawing blood. Mum immediately rushed to help. Oddly licking her lips, she examined the wound and wrapped it with a bandage. My head spun hard for a moment, but I'm okay. Maybe we should go home. No, it's brother's birthday today. We have to have fun. We spent the whole day in the park and had lots of fun, so I thought Sis would definitely fall asleep tonight. Everything at home was as usual. We found Dad watching TV and pizza was waiting in the kitchen. He ordered it when Mum didn't have time to cook. After dinner, Erin went to do her homework and I went to play with Gingeroo. I got so carried away I didn't notice when I fell asleep. Mum was probably busy with something and Dad had likely gone out with friends again. Sometime later I woke up thirsty. I headed to the kitchen but stopped at the stairs when I saw light in my sister's room. I decided to peek in. You're still awake? The witch shows up every time I close my eyes. And the pills don't scare the wicked witch away anymore. I don't know, I can't remember how many I've taken. Sleep won't come and there are fewer and fewer left. Maybe I should take them all at once to chase the witch away. Erin ruffled my hair. Maybe you're right. Will you look after Wolfie for me? I might sleep a long time. Sure, sleep as much as you need, sis. Just get a good rest. Erin smiled. Okay. In the morning, Dad's shout woke me up and frightened. I ran into my sister's room. I always did that when Mum and Dad fought. I felt safer with Erin, so this time too I climbed onto her bed. She was pale and motionless. She must have been very tired. I carefully settled down beside her, afraid to wake her. Something shattered downstairs and the yelling grew louder, which scared me, and I grabbed my sister's hand. She was cold, and I became even more frightened, started shaking her, and all I needed right now was her voice to calm me. She would tell me that Mum and Dad were arguing over nothing again, but she didn't open her eyes and wasn't even breathing. I started crying and tried with all my might to wake her. Out of fear and desperation, I pushed Erin so hard she nearly fell off the bed. I got even more scared when she kept on sleeping. She must be just a heavy sleeper, so I covered her with a blanket. I lay there for a few minutes, and Mum and Dad kept arguing. Mustering my courage, I decided to go downstairs to make peace between them. Usually Erin did that, but it looks like it was my turn. So that's what this look in the fast was. Do you even understand what you've been doing all this time, you lunatic? I didn't know it would end like this. I only took a little. You drove your daughter to this. What have you done, Emily? Because of you, she... Daddy, Sis said she could sleep for a long time. Alex, go back to your room. Be a sweetie. Don't you dare speak to my son after what you've done, you monster. I really tried to overcome it, but the pills, the injection, nothing helps anymore. I was going insane. I tried to kill myself. Renfield syndrome is incurable. It would have been better if you died, you damn junkie, instead of her. He grabbed a knife and stabbed Mum with it, but Mum defended herself from him. Then Dad got very angry. He dragged Mum by the hair into the garage and doused her with something strange. Then he pulled a box of matches from his pocket, struck one along the side and threw it at Mum. The flames flared up instantly, lighting the walls with a bright glow. Mum became brighter. She looked like a Guy Fawkes effigy we burned at last year's parade. Mum was shouting something, but I couldn't make it out. It seemed like she was calling my name. There was so much fire, and it went very high. Soon our whole house looked like Guy Fawkes' effigy. I cried because I was scared, and the bright light hurt my eyes. Such a huge and bright bonfire, almost like the one we had at the picnic. I wonder if Wolfie likes picnics. Definitely ask Sis when she wakes up. I mean, it's a case of what sparks joy, Raina. You play what you want to play. I currently have the problem of too many games and not really enough time, but hopefully after next week I'll have a little bit of time to play some games. Wow. Epilogue. I definitely didn't expect this to be a whole playthrough thing. My phone beeped in my pocket and new messages arrived. Amanda Silk. Dear Alex, today, for the first time in a long while, Molly recognised me. She's slowly regaining consciousness, and soon my girl will be completely recovered. I owe this success to you and Gingeroo. Look what I gave to my sweet Molly. Oh, okay. Yeah. Aww. On the phone screen, I saw a smiling girl with a plush unicorn. The girl looked sleepy, as if she'd been woken in the middle of the night and still hadn't fully awakened, yet her smile sparkled with joy and kindness. I smiled too. It seems the doctor knitted her daughter a toy, thereby strengthening the anchor. After that, she was able to enter her dream and pull the girl out the dark corners of her consciousness. I typed a message. Great news, Doctor. Give him my regards. Dr. Silk started typing something. Are you doing okay? Yeah, my parents did shower me with questions about our session though, but I didn't scare them with the details. It was enough for Dad to hear the price to go grey. But I didn't charge you. I'm just kidding, I'm perfectly fine, Doctor. That's good, because I was worried. The connection cut off so suddenly. I don't know, it seems nothing has changed. I'm the same as always. That's wonderful. I've got to go. My daughter's calling. Take care, Alex. Dr. Silk went offline and I put the phone back in my pocket. Today is such a nice, good, warm day. A cold breeze is blowing slightly. I breathed in the fresh Sunday morning air deeply and looked at the sky. Beautiful. Who was that? Dr. Silk, look at the unicorn she gave her daughter. Very cute, but as for Gingeroo... Of course, Gingeroo is much better. After all, you made him. I ruffled Erin's hair. Okay, let's go home. We've stayed too long. You're right, Erin. I'm so glad we're together again. Same here, brother. Are you really having as much fun with me as with Gingeroo? Of course, if only I had a plush toy now. Which one? Your plush version. Erin laughed. Why don't you sew it yourself? Even if you don't succeed the first time, I won't laugh too loudly. All right, I'll give it a try. Erin leaned her head against my shoulder. You know, this way you could take me anywhere. Isn't that great? Great, sis. Great. Oh dear, now he's hallucinating his dead sister. Okay. Alright, so we unlocked all the backgrounds. But not all the CCGs. So we had 5 choices. And we got 10 achievements. So trap the hunter and destroy him. Uncover a grim chapter of your childhood, your father's death at your mother's hand. Find both tickets and unlock the path to the past. Right, so we've got a bit of time to experiment. I don't know if I'll read it all out, but if we pick I think the man hit the woman. Okay, so okay, so this is the same, I think. Oh. Sorry, it took me a moment there. It was a false alarm. Yep. Nope, that was funny. Did? Oh, no, you're asking Raina. I'm gonna go with turn on the accessibility options, Jesse. It'll make it go so much quicker. And if you don't have to do all of the side quests, you know, just the story. Okay. Okay, so this is all the same. Right, so then it's father's study. Dad was into photography and said it was a tricky process. I was too small and might ruin anything. But Erin often went to Dad's study. She was both his assistant and his model. Once I asked Sis to show me a couple of the shots, and she said something like, "Sorry, little guy, they're only for members of the secret photo club." Okay. I don't know which is more terrifying, the mother drinking the blood or the father doing something obviously not right. Flood of memories made my heart pound. Good language. Okay. I'm going to save that one again and do show it to Jinjuru. Interesting, looks like an IOU. Can't imagine what it's doing here. An IOU? I heard that word many times as a child. Something unpleasant and heavy was associated with it. And I remembered. Hey, Ottershine! I'm yelling at Dad because it's a very piece of paper, but I couldn't recall my parents' faces. Silhouettes of a man and a woman appeared in my mind. I thought they would speak, but they dissolved into the darkness almost instantly. I stepped loudly on the grate and the fox leaping on my head, drums under his paws. Are you stupid? Making such a racket. Step more quietly. Take a cue from the girl. Pride is a hell of a drug. I mean... yeah. I prioritize enjoyment. And I'm stubborn. Oh. I don't remember if it was Jesse or Leaky sent me that exact same Real. And I'd already guessed the joke literally from the title. Still funny. Still funny. Okay. So, we're walking quiet because obviously there's a hunter. Walked like a mouse, treading lightly across the grated floor. Suddenly her foot slipped, she cried out. The heel of her shoe got stuck between the bars. She tried to free herself but couldn't. I came over to her and helped her. The floor ahead was stone, so she stepped more confidently. The straight path ended, the labyrinth veered left. We stopped at the corner. Looks like no one's there. Then why are we still standing behind this stupid corner? The fox tugged me forward. The next moment a distant sound made me freeze. At first it sounded like a dog barking, but listening closely I felt something was off, as if some creature was only pretending to be a dog. Why are you standing like a statue? Come on, after me. You have to use your channel point somehow, I mean, fair. Fair. The fox bolted ahead and Aaron and I rushed after him. Behind us a drawn-out, aggressive growl filled the passage. What the hell is that? Those aren't ordinary dogs. Probably more monsters from your twisted imagination, kid. Gee, thanks. They're catching up to us. You say that like you're ready to give up. By the way, Axe. What? Why are we running if you've got a weapon? I looked at him like he was crazy. A battle won is the one you managed to avoid. Fair enough. But if I have to, I'll fight. Without slowing my pace, I dashed around the bend. The barking had almost faded. A strange thing, I don't think dogs run slower than people. Remember when we chased that mattress bison just like this? Chinchiroo, now is really not the time. The trapped jaws clamped shut on the girl's legs, shattering the bone. What the hell is going on here? The entire corridor was lit with traps. You'd have to work hard not to land in one. No more barking, that's good. Dog must have known about the traps and fell back. Chinchiroo darted to Aaron and tried to pry the trap open. You can't do it alone, buddy. What do you do? See the lever under my paw? Press it with a flashlight when I pull. I did just that. The top fox panted, carefully forcing the trap apart. A click sounded and Aaron managed to pull her leg free. The wound's bleeding. We need a bandage. Vixen had the little kid again. She tore a strip from her dress and wrapped it around the girl's leg. Will she be alright? My words must have sounded absurd, since I already knew Aaron wasn't destined for a happy ending. Yeah, she'll be fine now. Get us out of here. I thrust the flashlight forward. It became the shard sword again. One precise strike at the trap's centre made it snap shut, making the girl flinch. With a screech of metal, I freed the sword to crash it down again. The trap snapped one after another as I kept striking, wiping sweat from my brow. Great, just a couple more. Suddenly, two vicious shadow beasts appeared, like dogs with camera eye lens eyes. Further down the wall, I saw the shadowy outline of a man with a rifle. Come on, be a good girl. We need a couple more shots. You'll behave, won't you, Aaron? The shot rang out. The bullet whistled past my ear. Seeing no other choice, I charged the man. As he aimed at me, I instinctively dropped, barely escaping an injury. Getting to my feet, I saw the man calling one of the dogs to him. Sick him! At the sight of the dog running towards me, a surge of adrenaline shot through me. 1 second was enough for me to grab my sword, and it proved decisive. The blade pierced the dog's throat the moment it leaped at me. Then shots rang out, and the bullets slammed into the limp dogs, then impaled on my blade. Meanwhile, another dog tried to grab Aaron, but the fox stopped it at the cost of his own paw. No, Alex, if the anchor's destroyed, you'll be stuck here forever. Protect Chinchiroo. With the sharp flick of the sword, I flung the limp dog off the blade and rushed Chinchiroo, shielding it from the bloody maw. The blade cut through the air, blocking the dog's path. With a terrifying snarl, it launched forward, the shard saved me again, becoming a barrier against the disgusting fanged maw. And though the beast hadn't expected that, it clamped its jaws shut within its mouth. Without thinking, I jerked the sword and scaling back. A scalding black ichor spattered all over me. The dog recoiled and landed in a trap, thrashing to break free but failing. Apparently realising it couldn't reach me, it suddenly froze and fixed its gaze on Aaron. Its camera lens flashed. There was a click. The man stepped up to Aaron. I don't know which... Yes, that's a good girl. They love those cute little tears. Aaron, just a couple more shots and everything will be fine. Before... Get away from her, you creep! I swung at the man, but he blocked with his rifle and then took aim for another shot. I ducked and rammed my head into his gut. A nasty chill washed over me and I almost recoiled. The man crushed the floor, a trap buried in his side. He seemed not to notice. blue eyes burning with hatred bore into me. I raised the sword, and this time he couldn't parry. The glowing blade seemed to slice him in two. The black fog around him dissipated, and he screamed in agony. Now he noticed the trap in his flesh. He tried to free himself, only to step into another. He lost all self-control, screaming like a wild beast as he stumbled into more traps. I waited for it to end. His screams were giving me a splitting headache. At last he fell silent and collapsed dead in a pool of his own blood, a monstrous grimace frozen on his face. Metal had chewed the flesh from his arms and legs, leaving bloody bones exposed. There was something in his slashed fingers, a ticket for a park ride. I know it's probably weren't for me, but I didn't want to take it. Do it, Alex. I obeyed, stepped closer, and leaned over the ghastly face and pried the ticket from the blood-slicked fingers. The black hand fell away, and the whole dark silhouette crumbled. The traps vanished into black mist. When it cleared, I looked at Aaron. The girl's leg was fine. With the hunter dead, all the pain he'd caused vanished, just like in the wolf room. This time I'd saved her, done what I had to do. Running up to Aaron, I checked her leg to be sure it was truly all right. Aaron smiled at me. My leg's healed. I reached out my hand to her. Come on, I'll get you out of the labyrinth. I think I remember everything. Dad. Okay, so now we've got... Dad, and here's the ice cream. Dad, look. I shoved my present in his face. He grinned broadly. That's awesome, a handsome fox. He's not just any fox, he's Gingeroo. Come on, Dad, I told you about him. Gingeroo, right, I knew it once. Dad patted my head. I noticed a man in a black jacket near the bumper car that rides waved to someone. Dad noticed him too. I'll be right back. I think I forgot my wallet. Will you just watch your brother, Aaron? Aaron sighed. Leaving again. Is it really the last time? Yes, of course, sweetheart. The last time, I promise. Aaron gave a faint smile. All right. While we were riding the carousel, I saw Dad walk around the ice cream stand and approach that man. He handed him something. Maybe it was the other way around. It was the ice cream vendor who had come out to return Dad's wallet. Yeah, that's right. That's how it happened. Dad came back whistling cheerfully. He patted Aaron on the head. You're such a good girl for helping Dad with his debts. We'll have to work a little more tonight. But he said... Dad scratched the back of his head awkwardly and laughed. Yeah, I know, sweetheart. I miscalculated a bit. Tonight's the last time for sure. Erin didn't look at him. She stared into emptiness, something only she could see. At last she said, Okay. What are you doing? Can I come with you? Dad laughed again. You're still too little for that, but soon you can do it too if you want. I want to. We'll see, Alex. We spent the whole day in the park and had a great time, so I thought Sis would definitely fall asleep tonight. The hunter chases me with his dogs every time I close my eyes. And the pills don't scare the bad hunter away anymore? Don't know, I can't remember how many I've taken. Okay. Alright, so that's the kind of photo shoots you arranged. Pervert. I didn't do anything, I only took photos. She's your daughter, what were you thinking, Rick? Did you even think for a second about what she felt? You broke her psyche, Rick, forced her to do the things she hated because of you. Mum swept the photos off the table and they scattered all over the kitchen. They showed my sister in various outfits and poses. On one photo closest to me, Erin wore tight tights, a short skirt and an unbuttoned white shirt with a tie. What did you do to our daughter, you bastard? Sis, she'd sleep for a long time. Don't yell. Alex, go back to your room immediately. Don't you dare talk to my son after what you've done, you monster. I was just trying to pay off my card debts. They threatened to kill me. Better you died, you damn gambler, than done that. It would have been better for everyone, especially for Aaron. She grabbed a knife and stabbed Dad. Dad fell to the floor and something red poured out. So much red. A whole sea. I wonder if Wolfie could jump over such a wide sea. I'll be sure to ask Sis when she wakes up. Oh, I don't... whether that was sad or, you know... It was not good. Ooh. Red end. Okay. Made it seem like that would unlock something. I got all the achievements. Unlock the path to the past. Yeah, let this fox suffer, and it's just a picture. I don't know whether that would have made any difference, but yeah. I mean, that was all the achievements, and we did the story and read the second bit, and that was mostly depressing, but so yeah, I mean, even without doing skip, it's a short game. Could have done with some proofreading and there's inconsistency between what people are called and how people are called, but with such a depressing storyline, it's really hard to go, yeah, I like the game. I liked the art. It just would have been nice not for it to do that. But I mean, you know, it didn't go on forever and ever and ever, and that's always appreciated, I guess. So yeah, Scarlet Wolf came out last week. If you want to play it for yourself, or if you want to run the achievements, but yeah, fairly straightforward. Thank you very much to the publisher, Sometimes You, for giving me a copy of this game. I literally, that was my stream plan, was that game. And yeah, I'll be back next Tuesday. I'll be honest, I've no idea what I'm streaming yet. I'll have to set something up on Monday. And I need to organise with Jessie when we're doing co-streams. But yeah, there we go. Alright, well, thanks for being here. I've been Joe, otherwise known as Angel SK. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.